Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our show titled Speak of Africa. What's the show of today going to be about? Well, the title of the show is Fraudulent and Fading French Empire Faces a New African Spring. That's what we're going to talk about today. French Empire, yes. The French Empire, as you know, the French as a nation used to be a colony. The France actually colonized France. Then later on, they went through a lot of wars and fights with the British and other Europeans. Then you had the First French Republic, Second French Republic, until you had the Fourth and Fifth French Republic under General de Gaulle. General de Gaulle is just like what Americans call George Washington. He's the savior of France. When you look at French history, France has been humiliated by the British and other Europeans for a very long time. You think that a nation that has faced a lot of humiliation would be nice to other nations, would be sympathetic to other nations. No. France now had the dreams of big empire. As tall as General de Gaulle was, so tall was his ambition. His ambition was not to relinquish the colonies that France acquired during the Second and after the Second World War. Even though the United Nations had asked France to liberate African countries, France did not really do that. What Charles de Gaulle did, he arranged a scheme. He only gave flag independence to African countries. Before he gave independence to any African country, France decided to ask these countries to sign a colonial pact for continued colonization in secret. So which means if you want to be independent, you have to maintain your relationship with France. You have to maintain political relationships, you have to maintain social relationships, and you have to maintain economic relationships. So that was the pact. On the political side, I'm saying this because a lot of what is happening today in Africa, you guys are asking me, why is this happening? Why is there so much anti-French feeling? It's because of Franc-Afrique, the Franc-Afrique system created by Charles de Gaulle during the 1960s. That's what happened. That's why the people are angry. In Cameroon, for example, why are the Cameroonians angry after this election? Why are they angry? They are angry because the Franc-Afrique system precludes them from enjoying the resources of their country. Paul Biya is a puppet of the French. As he himself says, Je suis le meilleur élève de Mitterrand, François Mitterrand. I'm the best student of French colonialism, French neocolonialism. So whatever Cameroon does, all the wealth of Cameroon is cultivated and sent to France. So Cameroon actually is a French farm, a French plantation. All the wealth of that country, the oil, is controlled by France. And this control is political, economic, and social. The people are angry because they were thinking change was coming. They were thinking of getting another candidate for president so that they can free themselves from the enslavement of the French. For the first time, they were thinking they're going to be free. When the Constitutional Council announced that Paul Biya has won the election again, which the people knew it was false, that's why they are in the street fighting and protesting. That's why they are against France. That's why the anti-French feeling is very high in the country right now. The same obtains in Ivory Coast, what they call Côte d'Ivoire. Elections too have just taken place there, and the people are not happy. But there are many differences the way the people are reacting to the news of the elections. In the case of Cameroon, the elections were not transparent. In the case of Ivory Coast, the elections were transparent. The only commonality is the way Alassane Ouattara handled things. He decided to disqualify Tidjane Thiam because he was the most formidable candidate. Then he only allowed 5 weak candidates to run against him. So this made it easy because he has cleared the field. So you only had very weak opposition. So he ran unopposed and won handsomely. So in the mind of the average Ivorian, it looks like the election was fair. By contrast, to most Cameroonians, the election was unfair, the election was rigged. It was a sham election because they did not understand why in a place like the Anglophone regions, Northwest, Southwest, Paul Biya is very unpopular in these regions. These regions have been fighting since 2016 to liberate themselves from La République du Cameroon. How can Paul Biya win 100% in these war-torn regions? So this is impossible. And that's why the people are angry and they're going crazy. And they are pointing the finger at France, the French Empire. But I will tell them, as much as they are protesting, they should take it. The French Empire is old, it is fading, because the Arab Spring took place, and now you've had the African Spring. With the African Spring, you had countries like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. These countries have succeeded in liberating themselves from the clutches of French neo-colonial control. Similarly, Cameroon is working hard to free herself from the clutches of neo-colonial control. That's why there is so much anger. And the people are looking at France like a rogue nation. Un pays voyou, comme on dit en français. A rogue nation, which means it's a nation that believes in fraud. The elections in Cameroon, it's a foregone conclusion. Before the election takes place, we already know who the winner is. Paul Biya, because he's the puppet of France. So why organize elections? In fact, this is a question Monseigneur Cleda, the Archbishop of Douala, he was asking. Instead of taking the money and helping the poor people, why take this money and organize sham elections? Why? Why spend so much money to organize elections, then kill people afterward? If you want Paul Biya to remain president, then just declare Paul Biya as president. So why try to fool the people? The people, for the first time, have discovered the lie orchestrated by France and Paul Biya. Everything now is in the open. If you did not know Paul Biya was rigging elections, now you know. Issa Chiroma, Maurice Kamto, these two guys have opened the eyes of the Cameroonian public. The masses now know that they voted for Issa Chiroma, even though Issa Chiroma is not a perfect candidate. They voted for Issa Chiroma, but Biya's cabal fake things, then they changed the numbers and gave the victory to Paul Biya. This is why the people are very, very angry. So you see why they are angry, because these French fingers, they are pointing at all what is happening. The French fingers are on everything. You may not really understand the connection. In this video, I'm going to make you see the connection. So when you look at Cameroon, politically, sometimes Paul Biya looks like a zombie, a vegetable. So how is he able to run Cameroon on a daily basis? Well, I'm going to show you how he does it. He does it by relying on the French president, Emmanuel Macron. From the Élysée Palace, Macron runs Cameroon. He has his Minister of Foreign Affairs. Then, of course, there's a French embassy in Yaoundé. These structures are in place, so they handle the day-to-day business of La République du Cameroon. So Biya can even sleep in Hotel Intercontinental for 3 months. The country runs on autopilot because the French masters are there to do all the heavy lifting. That's really what is happening in La République du Cameroon. So Biya can travel, sleep. The country is running. The military is a colonial army. Because this week, what is happening? Issa Chiroma has said the government will be shut down. He will shut down everything. There will be a ghost town for 3 days. This is because when he shuts down the system, there will be more chaos and the country will be ungovernable. So this is going to exert more pressure on the Biya government to collapse. That's the strategy of Issa Chiroma. And this strategy works a whole lot because the people are really angry. The same poor Biya government that was telling people not to come out, now that Chiroma has asked the people to stay home, the poor Biya government is confused. So the people are not going to be coming out. And when you look at Monsignor Cleda, what did he say? Monsignor Cleda really presented a rebuke of the Biya regime. You don't organize elections just to kill people. The people have sincere points that they want to express to the government. But the government is the kind of government that doesn't listen. The government doesn't listen. The government treats itself, especially the elite. They feel like they are supermen. They are high-class citizens. And the citizens of the country, the people, are inferior to them. So they don't listen to the people. In a democracy, government of the people, by the people, for the people, you listen to the people. But in the Biya system, he listens but to his master, Emmanuel Macron. So Emmanuel Macron is the Satan of the French Empire, which is really taking all the resources in most African countries. And now the people have had enough. They are rebelling. Emmanuel Macron has tried to present a new face to this Franc-Afrique system. But the people know it. It's like wearing a mask. The people can see through Emmanuel Macron's mask. They know that, oh, this guy is still the bad French government. He may not be wearing the face of Charles de Gaulle, but they know that this is not a good guy. And that's what the problem is now today in Cameroon. And that's why the people are protesting and they're asking Biya to leave. They want change. They want change that they believe in. The change they believe in is a change that they can get their sovereignty. Okay? They can be free, where they will have real independence, where they are free to choose their own presidents. The president is not imposed on them. Biya was never elected by the people of Cameroon in the first place. Biya was handpicked by the French to run the country. Since then, they've kept him there because he's their best student, meilleur élève de la France. The best student guarantees that France will get all the spoils. Whatever France wants, France gets it. Politically, France has a role to play in the government. France controls the Biya government. France runs the Biya government. In fact, the French ambassador in Yaoundé is really the president of Cameroon. The way Charles de Gaulle used to tell them, all these African presidents, Charles de Gaulle used to tell them, you are not presidents. You are French governors. So you are a governor of France. So you are not the president of your country. Anytime you think you are a president of your country, then France will arrange to overthrow you in a coup d'etat. That's what has been happening. It happened in Togo. You see, Sylvanus Olympio. Do you remember him? He was overthrown and killed by the French because he dared to create a currency that was different from the CFA. Okay? The CFA, which is a French currency. The French currency is the way the economy of most African countries in Francophone zones are handled. That currency was created by Charles de Gaulle. So he made it in such a way that all the former colonial territories use this currency. Whether they are independent or no, they use this currency. And under this system, France keeps 70% of the foreign reserves of a country in the French treasury. So the African country can only have access to only 30% of their foreign reserves. Then if they need more of this money, they have to come to France to borrow, and France will charge them a tax and a levy. Is this fair? No. With this, you see now that it's difficult for most African countries to develop economically because all their resources are intended to develop France. You look at like Cameroon, the wood in the country is all taken. We understand Biya's son, that's his business. That's his family business. All the wood belongs to him. In the east, they do all the business. Who benefits? France benefits. Then they give crumbs to Biya's son, Frank. He's happy. What about the Cameroonian people? They get nothing. So it's a system that is geared towards impoverishing the people. And which is why you see that the people are angry. The people are looking back in anger. They are angry at their government for forsaking them. Okay? That's basically what is happening now in La République du Cameroon. Then socially, France uses a lot of misinformation. In fact, most of the French newspapers, they only publish the kind of news that would keep the people in check, in slavery. When you see papers like Jeune Afrique, they were tools of the French government. And which is why when you went to most Francophone countries, you saw copies of Jeune Afrique in almost every office. But today, with the internet, Jeune Afrique doesn't have the kind of influence it used to have. A lot of news outlets, even like ours, Speak of Africa, were having a lot of views, and Jeune Afrique is not as popular as it used to be. But France also uses a lot of disinformation. If they don't like an African leader, they will continue developing stories to blackmail this African leader. The same has been happening with Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traoré has been doing good things for his country. This week, we even understand that they've created their own airlines, Air Burkina. But the French newspapers are not carrying these big stories. We only get some of these stories from the social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. That's where we get the news. But the major news organs in France are not carrying such stories because they are positive. They only trade on negative stories to make the African leader look bad, so that when they want to overthrow this leader, it will be easy for them to do it. Mali, same thing. Assimi Goïta is trying hard so that his people can enjoy the natural wealth of their country. Orano, which is a French multinational corporation exploiting uranium in the country, they have been making things difficult for Orano. Then the same thing, even look at Niger. Things are really tough. All these French companies, they want to exploit the wealth, then they don't even pay taxes. That's another problem. How can an African government have a tax base, but only the locals are paying taxes, the French multinational companies don't pay taxes? Then you expect the country to have enough money to run its budget? No. These are the problems making things tough for African countries. They have to rely on the World Bank, loans from the World Bank to run the country. So it's difficult to maintain a budget when you have to continue relying on the World Bank. So that's a problem. So as you can see, politically, socially, and economically, France has a stranglehold on African countries. That's why Africa is not developing, because France is holding us by the neck. Okay? And that's why the people on the ground are really angry, because they want this chokehold to be cut. They want to release it. The chokehold will make us die. It's killing us, and it's been killing us for years. So we have to change. And which is why the youth of Africa has decided that things have to change. You see, the youth of Africa is more educated, they are more learned, they have traveled, and they get information in the new world economy. Okay? They've traveled, they can get information from social media, they can share it, so they know what is happening. If their fathers and forefathers did not really understand the French politics, the French lies, these young people now understand these lies, and they are ready to kick the butt of France. They want France to get out. And that's why there is a lot of anti-French feeling in Cameroon. Some people are asking me, Prince Ojong, why are these people very, very angry with the French? They are angry with the French because France is colonizing them. France is not allowing them. You look, even on a social sphere, the courts in Cameroon are controlled by France. Look like Ainsi Ekane with other opposition leaders. They were abducted, and people have never seen them. Now we're only hearing that they have to be taken to the military tribunal. They have to charge them with strange crimes. These are people who are just exercising the right of free speech in their country. We even have a video of a YouTuber from England. So the guy came to Cameroon to report on the protests. But you see what happened to him, because they manhandled him. He was having fun with some of the natives, trying to understand what is going on. Out of the blue, he was arrested. They stole all his money. Take a minute and watch this video.
Today I'm going to be on the ground in Douala, Cameroon, as deadly riots inflame this city. It's about an election that has just happened and people are not happy with the results. The bloke has been in power, Paul Biya, he's been in power for 43 years. He's 92 years old. People are sick and fed up of the leader, the corruption, the unemployment, the lack of opportunities in this city. And it's turned from a peaceful protest into a deadly protest. Let's go and find out what it's like. It's a bit of a ghost town today in Douala. An African protest is unlike any protest you'll ever see. I just got mugged.
You got mugged?
Yeah.
By who?
They stole something from me. It's more dangerous, more chaotic. They don't just use tear gas and water, they use live ammunition. So, as 6 people have already died, we have to be extremely careful.
Vous avez l'autorisation?
Mon frère.
Vous avez l'autorisation de filmer?
I'm
Tu as
not
l'autorisation?
tourist.
Allez comme ça.
Huh?
We're getting attacked. Harry's just
Asseyez-vous là, vous allez attendre la police.
it's very serious. We're trying to get out. I think our plan is to get on
Asseyez-vous
motor.
ici. Ici.
Bonjour, monsieur. Help us.
Bonjour.
We need your help.
Anglais? Wow, guys. Let's just say that didn't go to plan. Kieran is unknown. Kieran's location is still... I'm tracking him now. He's at the police station. I think he got taken by the police. We got separated. As you guys saw in the video, I pretty much got mugged. They managed to take my sunglasses and luckily didn't get anything else. I was holding onto my bag for dear life. They cut my bag. They put all their hands in my pockets, and luckily I managed to escape just by the skin of my teeth and got away. And then I happened to get into more trouble, which I didn't get on camera. I bumped into my friend, the one white person in the city. I managed to bump into him as I was running away, and then more people came over. They decided to citizen arrest us they had no ID on them, so I was very suspicious. Tried to get away from them. They then managed to take our stuff, so we couldn't get away. And luckily, very luckily, we found some English speaking, very helpful Cameroonians who managed to get us out of trouble, me and my friend, not Kieran, and they found us. Police stopped us, and then the police took us back to the hotel where I'm at right now. It is now 2 p.m. and Kieran's location is still at the prison. I'm tracking him, and unfortunately we don't know what's going to happen with him. But all we know right now is that the leader, Paul Biya, has been re-elected for another 7 years. It's a very sad day for the people of Cameroon, knowing that they're living in a complete autocracy, a dictatorship. And
Okay, this video gives you a good idea of what is happening on the ground. In Douala, there's so much pressure, there's so much tension, so much trouble for the people. Should you come out or should you not come out? So that's the problem. Should we come out or should we not come out? The people are facing a dilemma. But now they have chosen to exercise their right and they are ready to die. If we must die, let us honorably die. Let us not die like chicken taken to slaughter. Let us die honorably. Okay? They are kicking and they are fighting. So they are not just folding their arms like chicken that has to be killed. So this is positive. And Issa Chiroma too is a good leader. He has been taken to a hideout because part of the army has broken away from the Biya regime. So this army is now protecting Issa Chiroma. Okay? What is going to happen if the Biya cabal tries to force its way to go and arrest Issa Chiroma the way they have been doing? Tragedy is going to happen in Cameroon. There's going to be a lot of bloodshed. That's the warning we're giving you. You're watching this video, so share with your friends. We're telling the truth. Trouble is going to come if Issa Chiroma has been jailed for over 6 years in La République du Cameroon. We don't think this time he's ready to be jailed again. This is his final fight. So that's why the Biya government has to be careful. Yambing, a professor, Pascal, was going to Garoua to meet with Issa Chiroma. The Biya government forced him to return to Yaoundé in the same airplane he used to go to Garoua. So this professor was just saying that things are tense. We need to be careful. If we push Issa Chiroma so much, If he commits suicide, there's going to be bloodshed in Cameroon. There's going to be a civil war. The North and the South are going to fight. And this is the crisis point. The North has taken it up to here. Biya and his cabal killed a lot of them and buried them in mass graves in Obala and Bamayo. They don't want to forget this. They know the Biya government has done terrible things to them, and they are ready to fight back. And I think their moment is now. They have been waiting for the elections to fight back. So if you have anybody in French Cameroon, tell them to be careful. Let them protect themselves, because the way we see things are going to get worse. So there's so much trouble in Africa, my friends, so much trouble. I know we've talked about Francophone Africa, but the same thing obtains also in Tanzania, which is not Francophone Africa. Samia Suluhu Hassan. We've been talking about her, that is a bad lady. So you see, when we talk about a leader on this show, terrible things happen to that leader. Now, just like what happened in Madagascar, the army is against this lady. I've been seeing soldiers tearing down posters of this lady. She did not want the opposition to run in this election. Now they declare her, oh, she's won 97% of the vote. Come on, who are you fooling? You cannot fool the African people anymore. So all those fraudulent lies of France and other colonial powers, France is emerging as the last and final colonial power in Africa. Because the African people are tired. They are tired of French dominion. They are tired of French control. They are tired of France stealing their natural resources. So they want change. Will they get the change they seek? Well, it is up to the young people to fight for their future. And we encourage them to fight for their future. And they are doing it. What we're doing on this show is to raise their level of perception to a higher realm. And I'm sure that is happening. Because that is happening, we salute our people and we say thank you. Fight for your rights, okay? Don't give up the fight. Fight for your rights and watch this show and share the show with your friends. Share, and share. Share. Bye-bye.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.